What if a single military operation could reshape the balance of power across the entire Middle East? In late February 2026, the world woke up to exactly that scenario. A coordinated air campaign, codenamed Operation Epic Fury, was launched by the United States and Israel against the Islamic Republic of Iran. Within hours, explosions rocked Tehran. Missile bases were torn apart, naval installations burned, and senior Iranian leadership targets were hit. Satellite images soon revealed widespread destruction across multiple military facilities. But the biggest question quickly emerged. Was this merely a precision strike, or the beginning of a new Middle East war? Some reports claimed the operation aimed directly at Iran's missile infrastructure and the backbone of its nuclear program. Others suggested it was about something even bigger, dismantling Iran's entire deterrence strategy. Meanwhile, retaliation came swiftly: ballistic missiles, drones, and cyber attacks spreading across the region. Oil markets trembled. Military bases went on high alert. Diplomats scrambled. And now the world is asking a single, chilling question. Did Operation Epic Fury actually destroy Iran's nuclear ambitions, or has it triggered something far more dangerous? To understand why this operation happened, we need to rewind. For decades, tensions between Iran and Israel have revolved around one central issue: Iran's nuclear program. Israel has long argued that Tehran's uranium enrichment efforts could eventually produce nuclear weapons, something Israeli leaders view as an existential threat. Iran, on the other hand, insists its nuclear activities are purely for civilian energy. But this conflict didn't stay limited to diplomacy. Over the years, covert sabotage, cyber warfare, and assassinations of nuclear scientists became part of the shadow war between the two states. Meanwhile, the United States has remained Israel's most powerful ally, providing intelligence, military coordination, and strategic support. By early 2026, tensions had reached a boiling point. Iran had expanded missile production, deployed thousands of drones, and strengthened underground facilities designed to survive conventional airstrikes. Israel believed the clock was ticking. On February 28, 2026, the joint campaign began. Waves of coordinated strikes targeted Iranian air defenses, missile launch sites, command centers, and strategic military infrastructure across multiple cities. The message was clear. This wasn't just retaliation. It was an attempt to dismantle Iran's military backbone before it could threaten the region. Operation Epic Fury was not a single strike. It was a multi-domain military campaign combining stealth aircraft, long-range bombers, cyber warfare, and advanced missile defenses. At the center of the operation were stealth platforms like the F-35 Lightning II and the B-2 Spirit bomber. The F-35's stealth profile allowed Israeli pilots to penetrate heavily defended Iranian airspace while remaining almost invisible to radar. Meanwhile, American B-2 bombers reportedly targeted hardened underground launch facilities, structures designed specifically to survive conventional attacks. But airstrikes were only part of the equation. The operation also relied on electronic warfare and cyber operations. Iran's radar networks were disrupted. Command and control systems were jammed. Some missile batteries reportedly failed to launch because their targeting systems were disabled. In parallel, missile defense systems across the region were activated. Israel deployed its multi-layer defense network, the Arrow missile defense system, David's Sling, and the Iron Dome. The United States added additional coverage using the Patriot missile system and Aegis-equipped naval destroyers. Despite this defensive shield, Iran responded with waves of drones and ballistic missiles. Some were intercepted. Others struck military bases across the region. But the most dramatic result of the operation was the scale of destruction inside Iran itself. Thousands of targets, from missile depots to naval facilities, were reportedly struck during the opening phase of the campaign. Yet one key mystery remained. Did these strikes actually hit Iran's nuclear facilities? According to international monitoring agencies, there was no confirmed evidence that major nuclear installations had been destroyed, at least not in the early days of the campaign. Which means the strategic goal might have been something else entirely: delay, disruption, and deterrence. While bombs were falling in Iran, shockwaves spread across the global economy. One of the most immediate concerns was the security of the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway handles roughly 20% of the world's oil supply. If Iran attempted to block it even temporarily, the global economy could feel the impact within days. Oil prices surged as markets reacted to the escalating conflict. Energy analysts warned that prolonged instability in the Persian Gulf could trigger inflation, supply disruptions, and economic shockwaves far beyond the Middle East. But the geopolitical impact doesn't stop with oil. Iran is not isolated. Tehran maintains strategic ties with major global powers like Russia and China. While neither country has directly entered the conflict, both have condemned the strikes and called for de-escalation. Meanwhile, Iran's network of regional allies, including militant groups across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, creates another layer of complexity. Any of these actors could open additional fronts in the conflict, and in fact, some already have. Missile and drone attacks have reportedly targeted U.S. bases and allied infrastructure across the Gulf region following the strikes. In other words, this is no longer just a bilateral confrontation. It's becoming a regional security crisis. So what happens next? Military analysts believe several scenarios are possible. The first is limited escalation. In this scenario, Iran absorbs the damage, retaliates symbolically, and avoids a full-scale war with the United States. The second possibility is regional expansion. Proxy groups backed by Iran could intensify attacks against Israeli or American interests, stretching the conflict across multiple countries. But the third and most dangerous scenario is a strategic shift inside Iran itself. If Tehran concludes that conventional deterrence has failed, it may accelerate its nuclear program rather than abandon it. Ironically, that could produce the exact outcome the operation was meant to prevent. History shows that military strikes rarely end nuclear ambitions. Sometimes they accelerate them, which means Operation Epic Fury might not be the end of this conflict. It could be only the beginning. Operation Epic Fury represents one of the most significant military escalations in the Middle East in decades. A coordinated strike by the United States and Israel aimed at crippling Iran's missile and strategic capabilities. But the real outcome remains uncertain. Iran's military infrastructure has taken heavy damage. Yet its nuclear program may still survive, and the region is now more volatile than ever. So the question now shifts from what happened to what happens next. Will this operation stop Iran's nuclear ambitions? Or will it push the region closer to a much larger war? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want more deep dive military and geopolitics breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.